Here we go. Just get those wonderful toys.
Are you playing in the bathtub with your little doll?
Action figure!
You got any other cute little buggers like this one? I like to stick them all in a row on my control console.
Consider this. What is the purpose of a toy?
To be played with.
Therefore, to not play with it would be
Illogical. Damn it!
You're too slow, Gridlock! Too slow and dumb! Gridlock, not dumb!
Old timer.
Old timer! Infernal Guardian!
Can't help me, Black Bill.
You can do it, Wonder Wheel. I don't want to go through life being a Wonder Wheel murderer.
Would you look at that? A toy show. What do you say we go in there and see what they got? Step right up and hear all about wonderful plastic pieces of marvels. Only here on Collectable Past.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to the brand new version of Collectable Past that we're going to be doing here on Saturdays. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be running this every single Saturday. It's one of the ones I'm going to be playing it out, you know, as it goes on. I'm going to play it by ear. Maybe I'll do it once, I don't know, once every other Saturday. I don't know. I'll see how things work out. I'm just going to be playing by ear. But we wanted to switch everything up. So Collectible Past, how it was on Thursdays, we were getting into a lot more of the newer stuff that was coming out. And we really didn't have time to actually really talk about some of the older school stuff. We were always pressed for time. I always felt like I had to take clips and I had to bury clips and I had to try to like use them the next week or the week after and everything like that. So I decided, you know, we're going to focus. Thursday show is going to be strictly all newer stuff. And then I'm going to move all the old school stuff onto Saturday and just talk about it then and just have a lot of fun talking about it the way I want to talk about in the time space that I want to talk about it without feeling like I have to kind of rush to bury everything into the show. You know what I mean? I didn't like doing it that way. It was just too much of a rush. It was just too much of a pain in the ass to do it that way. So I think this is going to be a lot better. Everything is going to be focused on old school toys on this show. And like I said, it's either going to be every Saturday or maybe every other Saturday, but we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So with that out of the way, guys, everybody that is watching now, everybody that's going to be watching later on in the replay, I know I didn't do a whole lot to actually promote the show other than talk about a little bit here and there on the Thursday show. But thank you for always hanging with me. Thank you for having fun. RR in the house. What's going on, RR? Old School Toy Time. Old School Toy Time is here to stay on this day from now on moving forward. So with that out of the way, the intro, what we're going to be doing and how things are going to be working, I'm actually going to get into the very first segment. And this one, hey, it's a brand new month. We're talking about toy origins and histories. This one is a pretty long one. This is one that's actually been in the back burner for quite some time. I actually had to break this one into multiple segments. The full-length video that will be going on my channel eventually is actually going to be 10 times longer than what I'm going to be showing off today. So what's going on, Curtis, man? Good to see you, buddy, man. I hope you're doing well. And yeah, guys, like I said, all old school now. So we're going to get into our first segment, Toy Origins and History. You know this one. You love this one. And there's going to be 3 long parts to talk about this one. And there was a lot more to say. But hey, I think it has to break it down a little bit for these shows. sit back and enjoy. Pass the word along. Let everybody know where we're going, and we're having fun talking about old school toys. Here we go, guys.
It is I, Indy of the Guinea Pig Collective, the archaeological pig. On today's Toy Origins and History, we'll be taking a look how Mattel took the time to observe how 5-year-olds played with toys and seeing the attraction that young kids had to superhuman strength and power, and how those toy makers doubled down and giving kids the biggest, most powerful toy character ever made, and they gave him the most outrageously simple name. We will be talking about Masters of the Universe and, of course, He-Man. What led to the creation of He-Man? Well, to tell that story, we first got to look back to 1976 when Mattel declined an offer to produce toys for the then unreleased Star Wars movie. The commercial success of George Lucas's film and its merchandise prompted the toy company to seek its own voice action line. Now, from its then home in Hawthorne, California, Mattel dominated the market for toy dolls and toy cars with Barbie and Hot Wheels, and now the company was seeking similar success with boys' action figures. Its biggest success so far had been Big Jim, an all-purpose action sports spy hero launched in the early 1970s. After the explosion of Star Wars toys from Kenner, Mattel had bought in licenses based on movies and TV, including Battlestar Galactica, Flash Gordon, and Clash of the Titans. Then a new idea emerged, to create an original property that would be its own, not bought in-house production. The Mattel designers were tasked to come up with a new theme that could compete with Star Wars. Mattel's marketing team decided to undertake some primary research. They watched how 5-year-old boys played with toys. They could see that boys were drawn to the strength, the fierceness, and superhuman powers. The children acted out being in control and having great power was inspirational for them. The team decided to create the biggest, most powerful action character ever.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe will be back right after these messages.
There we go with part one, and this is the beginning, and everybody always forgets about that with the stuff with Kenner. Like when Kenner snatched up Star Wars, man, Lucas had tried a bunch of other toy companies at the time, and Mattel was one of the first stops, and they turned it down. They were like, no. Because up until that time, a lot of toy companies did not have a lot of success when it came to movie tie-in toy lines, especially with something that was an unknown property. So Star Wars was completely unknown at the time. Nobody knew it was going to be a blockbuster. I mean, here's a movie that George Lucas is working on. They knew him from American Graffiti, but they didn't know him for much more than beyond that. And doing a sci-fi fantasy type movie, nobody knew exactly what it was going to be. Nobody had the foresight to say, hey, man, this thing is going to be a killer ass movie. And when it came to Kenner taking that line, that's why Kenner actually stuck it to Lucas with a really horrible deal as far as what it was concerned for percentage-wise, what Kenner was going to get compared to what Lucas was going to get. They got the bulk of the 75 cents a toy. It was like it was like $1.75. It was like $1.75 a toy or something like that. And the bulk of it, Kenner got. Only like 15 to 20 cents is what Lucasfilm got off those toys. They really stuck it to Lucas. And that's why when it came to Empire Strikes Back, when they were doing the renegotiation for the contract for the toys, that's why Lucas actually wound up doing a much more favorable contract for him as opposed to Kenner getting it all. But yeah, Mattel and all these other companies, Hasbro, all of them, they all turned it down. They wanted no part of it. Oh, great pigs think like, yeah, RR, you got that one right out of the bat. You knew what we were talking about. Indy did some work on this one. Worked out well for both companies, but Mattel clearly got the edge. Yeah, they did later on with this He-Man stuff. And yeah, as we delve a little bit more into the story, now granted, there's a whole lot more that I actually am putting into full length video that I had to kind of cut out of this to do it live because it just takes so much more time to get through, and of course uploading it as well. But there was a ton of extra stuff in there, and man, it's really interesting to see the, shall we say, the genesis of how the Motu line came to be. So without any further ado, I'm going to play the second part, and then we're going to continue the discussions on this Motu line.
And now back to He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
And the genesis of He-Man begins with Mattel artist Mark Taylor, who was brought in and chosen for the closeness of his style to legendary fantasy artist Frank Frazetta, a key inspiration for the new concept. A fan of Harold R. Foster's classic Arthurian comic strip Prince Valiant and EC Comics horror and suspense titles such as Weird Tales, Taylor had already invented his own fantasy character who he called Torak, hero of prehistory. This barbarian eventually morphed into a powerful new axe-wielding, loincloth-wearing titan with the first three-dimensional prototypes created by another Mattel artist, Roger Sweet. This is when He-Man was born. And every hero needs a proper villain to be able to fight with. Now, Mattel artist Mark Taylor created the first images of the character who would become the cackling, skeleton-faced ghoul we all love to hate, Skeletor. He became the very essence of evil. He actually represents fear. When the artist was a child, his parents took him to the Pike, an amusement zone in Long Beach, California, in the House of Fear. Taylor encountered an exhibit that haunted him into adulthood. What looked like the dead body of a man suspended from the ceiling to young, terrified Mark, it smelled and looked like a real dead body. In truth, it was. It was an American outlaw, Elmer McCurdy, who was killed in a shootout with police, and his mummified body was displayed to the public from the 1920s to the 1960s. That was one of the scariest things I've ever seen, said Taylor, and that's where Skeletor came from. And of course, even with the artistic talents of Mark Taylor, He-Man would not have happened without the man who created the prototypes. In 1980, Mattel designer Roger Sweet made 3 prototype action figures of a new hero. He took the Big Jim figures from the Mattel toy line and bulked them up with modeling clay to create eye-popping muscular physiques, the likes of which had never been seen before in boys' toys. One of them, a military-themed figure, wore a tank turret on his head and was called Tankhead. Another wore a sci-fi inspired helmet and was called Bullet Head. The third figure was a fantasy barbarian with a bearskin cape and a battle axe named He-Man.
He-Man will be right back after these messages.
Yeah, so in case you didn't know that, Elmer McCurdy on display, actually in display in that one house, the House of Fear, is a guinea pig reliable. Yes. Oh, and speaking of which, Canadian Spider-Man, when we were talking the other day when you were running your travel show, you brought up that thing, and I thought his name was Erector, and I thought he was a Transformer. So he was a Japanese anime. He was involved in Japanese anime, but it wasn't Transformers. It was GoBots, and his name is Crane Brain. So that's actually the character that you were looking at from that little GIF where it looked like he had an erection going on. Yeah, it was actually a GoBot. It was GoBot. And the way the crane is displayed on the front is not something you would typically do with that GoBot, but the whole crane assembly was removable from the back, and you could plug it onto the front like that, since that's where it goes when he's in vehicle form. So, yeah, there you go. His name is Crane Brain. So, Indy's nailing it. Yeah, and hey, man, we get some good information, you know. GoBots, right? He looks GoBots. So we showed on stream. Yeah, he's GoBots. His name is Crane Brain. You can look that up if you want. You'll see the exact toy I'm talking about. And I'm sure you'll find plenty of pictures where people move the crane part in the front to make it look like that GIF. GoBots have erections? What? Yeah, you should see it. You should see it. I would try to pull it up right now, but I've actually been having some difficulties with the internet, having too many tabs open and everything. It's another one of those freaking days. I'm not 100% sure if it's the internet. I think it's actually the computer because the computer was making a lot of freaking crazy noises earlier. So it is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get into the third part of this, and then whatever other questions you guys have for me, whatever else you want to discuss about Motu, we'll delve into that before I jump into anything else. It's cool to see the prototype of the He-Man figure. I bet that goes for a pretty penny. I'm sure it does. I'm pretty sure it does. Like I said, there's a little bit more on that, on the prototype stuff, and I'm going to jump in that in this third segment, which you probably find pretty interesting. Some of it I've talked about before on other shows when we've talked about He-Man and the Masters Universe. Other stuff I haven't really delved into quite as much because I didn't get into the big in-depth discussion like I am right now with the toy origin and history. There's always something. There is. So let's get into that final part and then more discussions about Motu.
And now back to He-Man.
Also used from the existing Big Jim toy line, the Tiger was repurposed and repainted to become Battle Cat with added armor. Also, Panther, which received a flock coat, became Skeletor's mount. Sweet's figures were designed to impress. The actual figures in the line from 1982 to 1988 would be smaller at 5.5 inches. And in this, he was very successful. When Mattel CEO Ray Wagner saw them, his instant reaction was, these have the power. The entire idea behind everything Roger Sweet had done can be encapsulated from this phrase that he have heard to have said. Let's do something that's just massive. Makes every other action figure look wimpy. Now, when artists and designers were questioned as to how kids are going to understand the Masters of the Universe storyline and everything about He-Man, they came up with something on the fly and said, yes, didn't we tell you we're going to pack in a mini comic? And that's exactly what they did, which told the story of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, albeit different than what comes later on in the Filmation TV series in 1983. From that moment on, all the mini comics in 1984 began to feature stories that were present in the Filmation universe of the Masters of the Universe. Now, while the figures for the Masters of the Universe line are paramount and, of course, need to be sold, there was something even bigger, something that they were pushing as the centerpiece for the entire Masters of the Universe line, and of course, that was the big playset, Castle Grayskull. On a side note, if you didn't know, what Filmation had did with the Masters of the Universe that made it so much different than every other cartoon was that they used rotoscoping, which means they actually filmed live people doing moves and going through the motions, and then traced over top of those film cells to create the animation cells. The Masters of the Universe toy line first debuted in the spring of 1982, and despite being a new line with no movie tie-in, sold at an impressive $38 million in the US from May to December of 1982. Guys, we hope that you enjoyed this Toy Origins and History on the Masters of the Universe. Thank you for joining us on this Toy Origins and History with me, Indy, of the Guinea Pig Collective.
And the Masters of the Universe.
So there we go with a, I guess you would say, a brief rundown of the history of He-Man in the Masters Universe, or just the Motu toy line. The rotoscoping makes a good effect. Yeah, and there was a lot of things that they did, like all the little synchronies of He-Man, the way he would flip the sword from one hand to the other, the way he would pull it from the sheath, all that was done with a live actor, and the live actor had his own way of moving that sword around that they wound up capturing those cells. It was something that he just did himself. So there was a lot of interesting takes that wouldn't have happened if it was just strictly animation. So it was a very, very, very cool thing that they did. I mean, one of the companies that were doing a lot of rotoscoping back in the day, of course, was Disney. Disney was known for doing a lot of rotoscoping. As a matter of fact, if you look back to the Lord of the Rings animated, the first part, which is technically supposed to be the first two parts of the book, the Fellowship and the Two Towers, if you watch that, you could tell that that's that rotoscope. It looks nothing at all like the rest of the stuff that they were doing as far as The Hobbit and then, of course, The Return of the King. It was nowhere even close to the same animation. So that was all rotoscoping as well. A lot of people didn't like it in the Lord of the Rings animated. I personally, I thought it was okay, but I would have went more with the same style that they were using for The Hobbit and the Return of the King. I thought that was a lot more fun. So yeah, Rankin Bass or Ralph Bakshi, Bakishi. Yeah, it was interesting. I didn't think it was the best, but rotoscoping has been used in a lot of other stuff, especially like a lot of older Disney things, and it's been used to great effect. And He-Man was one of the ones that it worked out really well. I mean, I think everything that they did just gave it a unique feel and a unique look as opposed to everything else that was out at the time. So, I mean, hats off to them. I thought it was well done. Canadian Spider-Man, I can't tell the difference. Really, you can't. It's one of those things, if you're really paying attention to the animation and what it's doing, you could tell it looks a lot different than regular animation cells. It's noticeable if you know what you're looking for. One of those things, if you don't remember it as much, because it's been so long, or you just not really pay attention, especially as a kid, you might have thought, man, it just looks different than every other cartoon, but you probably would have never assumed that all those film cells were taken from live actors, so it was interesting. I think He-Man was the best use of rotoscope. I would agree. Especially for a regular animated series. Absolutely. One thing they did do, though, is there was a lot of that stuff that they reused certain things. So if He-Man had a double-handed chop down with the sword, that was something that was constantly reused. The running animations, you remember, if you watched He-Man, almost every time you see He-Man start running, it's always the exact same run in the exact same way because they just reused a lot of those cells instead of redoing them over and over again. That is a nice touch to rotoscope. I thought so as well. I thought so. It was definitely interesting. It definitely gave it a unique look, like I said. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to create something new, something brand new, you want it to kind of stand out from everything else. And of course, there's one other thing about Filmation and everything they did. So when you're talking about the guy that was running Filmation, and oh God, why am I going to blank on his name right now? Lou Scheimer. So Lou Schreimer, when he did everything for Masters of the Universe, there were certain things that he was able to take artistic liberties with. One of the things was he created the whole Prince Adam. There was no Prince Adam in the original mini comics that they came out with. The original mini comics, it shows He-Man, he's coming from a jungle village of barbarians, and he's going out in the world to do good because, he feels he can. There was no Prince Adam. It was just this guy, this He-Man. He was just a guy from a village. And when he got a hold of it, he created the whole idea of Adam. He wanted to tie it more into kids, and that was the whole idea of kids have the power. That's why they came up with the character, or at least Schreiber came up with the character of Adam. He wanted to feel a little bit more kid friendly. He wanted kids to be able to really resonate with the character Adam. Here's a younger guy. He's not exactly a kid, but they were trying to kind of play in that direction, that he was very kid-like and that he had the power. And it's basically a nod to the kids that, you have the power. So that's what he did with that. So he created Prince Adam, and it wasn't until much later on that Prince Adam's figure showed up, and then he started showing up in mini comics. A few other changes that he made. And what's going on, Padre, man? Good to see you, man. One of the other changes he made is in the original mini comics, they were talking about the sorceress and Tila and the connection between those two. In the original mini comics, Tila is a clone created by Skeletor of the sorceress so he could try to get to the Tower of Castle Grayskull. in the cartoon, they changed that a little bit, and it's her daughter, just straight up daughter instead of, a clone. Another weird thing in the mini comics when they did the Sorceress, there was a screw up and they wound up painting her green. I mean, her outfit, her skin, everything green all the way through. And to Mattel's credit, they remembered that mini comic had a completely green Sorceress who was actually called Tila originally. And then they changed it, because it had to be two different characters because Tila winds up becoming the warrior princess. But yeah, they actually made a character in the Origins line. When they came back out with Origins, was that like 2020, 2018 when they started redoing Origins? Yeah, they had a completely green Sorceress. And they actually had, instead of Masters of the Universe on it, they had the original title, which most people forget about. They weren't going to call it Masters of the Universe. Their original idea for the pitch for the line was going to be the Lords of Power. But obviously, they said, "Oh, this sounds like a little bit too religious or something," and they were like, "It might piss people off," so that's why they changed it and it became Masters of the Universe. And even then, they were a little bit skeptical about it. Such a long title, is it going to work? And it absolutely did work. So they had to reuse the same shot to save money. Yeah, and a lot of studios do that, even with some of the other stuff. The studio that made He-Man was one of the last in-house animation companies in the U.S. Yeah, Filmation, man. When they went under, man, it was a shame because they did a lot of interesting freaking animations. They did a lot of cool shit, and it's like anything else, man. A lot of them just wound up getting absolutely destroyed. Everybody supports recycling. Yeah, yes, they do, Spidey. Yes, they do. But yeah, man, that's the opening salvo for our new Saturday show with all the old school stuff. Papa, you might like that, Padre. All old school stuff here on Saturday now. Thursday show is nothing but the new stuff. So if you don't care about new figures, you might want to stop in for this one as opposed to Thursday. So with the opening salvo out of the way with Masters of the Universe, I think we hit on most of everything that we needed to hit on that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring back a classic that we used to have from the other show, and that is going to be toys from bygone eras with all those old school commercials that maybe some of you might remember, most of them probably before your time. Kick back and enjoy as we get through this quick commercial break.
I am your Professor Indy of the Guinea Pig Collective. Welcome to Toys from Bygone Eras.
From Gaucho, Mr. Chips, Scooter Pie, and Fudgetown comes with Batman and Robin, a quality Aurora model you build yourself, just 50 cents. Send today for your official Batmobile hobby kit. Learn how from Murray Packages.
He's a demon in a beat-up Chevrolet. It ain't worth $1, so he wrecks it every day. Now here is Kenner's SSP smash-up derby set, and you can hoot and holler, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Crash, bang, crack 'em up, put 'em back again. Crash, bang, smash 'em up, it's smash-up time, my friend. Kenner's SSP smash-up derby set comes with everything you see right here.
No rain, but your car's bound to get dirty.
So give your car a car wash, make it look like new. Watch it in the car wash that lets you see right through. Mr. Kelly's car wash, that's the one for me. Hey, Mr. Kelly, wax it beautifully. Drive up the ramp, hook the chain, it runs by battery. Clean, scrubs, and dries your car automatically.
Mr. Kelly's automatic car wash. What a toy! From a hidden tank, fill overhead water tower, hook on car, throw switch, and automatically cars are wet down, scrubbed all over, and dried while you watch. Mr. Kelly's car wash comes with 2 late model cars, car wax, towels, sponges, and even a sign.
Hey, Mr. Kelly, clean my car like new. Mr. Kelly's car wash lets you wax them too.
Every boy wants a Remco toy, and so do girls.
Mr. Kelly's car wash, that's the one for me. G.I. Joe, fighting man from head to toe, on the land, on the sea, in the air.
G.I. Joe attack! Boom, boom! G.I. Joe takes the hill! Bam, bam! Terrific battle!
Terrific equipment to have a battle with. When you get G.I. Joe and the authentic G.I. Joe equipment, you'll have the greatest realism, the greatest fun you ever had in playing soldier. Box after box of authentic uniforms and equipment, so you can change your G.I. Joe soldier into a camouflage Marine ready for battle, a Navy frogman with complete scuba suit and inflatable life raft, an Air Force pilot with high-altitude helmet and air vest. Get G.I. Joe and get G.I. Joe equipment, so you can set up exciting battle action whenever you want. Remember, only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.
Thank you for joining us, and remember, if it's not being done by a pig, it's not worth watching.
There we go with our toys from bygone eras. So with that out of the way, we're going to get into, and I'm going to be doing this from now on, at least every single show. So every Thursday show and every one of these Saturday shows. What I will be doing is I will be doing a live show off of something that hopefully I've never showed before. I didn't have any of those. You didn't have any of what, the G.I. Joes, Padre? The big 12 inches? And that was one thing, too, about the big Jim things with the Motu. They were 12-inch figures. So that's why I said in there, why I said he scaled them down to 5.5. That's why, because the original Big Jims were 12 inches. That's why that's why Battle Cat's so oversized. He's like the size of a horse. You had none of those in that break. Really? Not a single one. Wow. Damn. Back when advertising was honest about what was included and products were innovative and had value. Absolutely. Appreciate that, RR. Too young. I know. Well, there's a few things that I had. I had the Smash Bang, crack 'em up. What the hell are they called again? Smash Bang, crack 'em up. There's not my friend. The Smash cars. I still have a set of those, but I have the ones were 1776 versions of them. So they were just red, white, and blue, stars and bars all over, or stars and stripes rather, all over the damn vehicles. But they were the exact same two vehicles that were featured in the commercial. Still have them somewhere. I think the only thing I might have lost is they had like little Fox tires that were sitting on the side. So these faux tires that were sitting on the side, they kind of like would pop off. They weren't supposed to, but they did. I think that's the only thing I'm missing. I have all the doors. I have the freaking hoods and everything like that. The only thing I might be missing is this zip strip for him. What's going on, Vinny?
Hey, brother. Sorry, I lost track of time. I was waiting for a text I didn't get.
No, it happens. It happens. I'm sorry. I was actually busy, too. I was fighting with the computer again. What's going on? Lurch, man. Good to see you as well. Hey, if you missed it, our opening discussion was about Motu, three-parter, digging into a lot of the history and everything of Motu. As I said, every week, Thursday and Saturday, and then, like I said, I'm not sure if this show will be every single Saturday or every other Saturday, or just as I feel like I have enough time to get everything done, because there's a lot to prepare for the regular Thursday show too. Yeah. So I don't want to overwhelm myself. But every time we do these, I will be doing a live show off. So what's the live show off today? Something that I've never showed you guys. What's that, Padre? I need the Old Skool show. I just make people angry anywhere else. No worries, Padre, man. You're welcome. You're always welcome around us, man. I've known you for years. You don't irritate me. So what do we got today? We got Slinky and the Rigamajig.
Nice.
I don't know how many of you guys have ever remember seeing the Slinky Rigamajigs. So
I remember Slinky. I don't recall these.
I don't think I'm going to be able to dump all of them out, so I'm just going to drop a big handful of them out. So basically, it's like anything else. You take these things and you put them here and here. They were just building blocks, so to speak. But you build them out however you wanted to, so you can just do some weird things for them. Build them out in all kinds of weird angles and everything, and that's basically what they were. Nothing that you're familiar with, huh?
They kind of look familiar. Build something cool. Let's see if it'll jog some more memories.
I don't know how cool it's going to be. It'll probably be something that's going to want to fall over.
Most likely. Sorry, I'm just getting the word out so that people can see this as well.
Kind of difficult to reach all the way over, too.
There we go.
But that's basically. I didn't even realize how low that was, but
I blow it up.
Yeah.
They do look familiar. I know I have not seen that box, but the actual pieces do look very, very good.
Yeah, this one is from the 1970s.
Okay. Yeah, maybe
So-
one of my brothers had it.
So before the plastic top, which was 1970s, the older ones had, I think it was a tin top,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. But they're interesting. It's like anything else. It was everything a lot, at least a lot. I won't say everything, but like a lot of toys back then. A lot of toys were focused on creativity for kids, being able to get kids to use their imagination to be able to build stuff. And that was just an extension on there. And these ran production all the way into the 1980s. Then after that, they vanished. They were gone after that.
Yeah. I mean, you had Masters of the Universe, you had G.I. Joe, Transformers, so it's like, I don't think these stood a chance.
Well, I mean, there was plenty of building toys that still were around. But this
they were dying
wasn't.
off.
Yeah, this wasn't. I don't think it was enough to keep it going for any extended amount of time.
Right. Padre remembers these.
Padre remembers these?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. Nice. RR says he remembers Slinky, but not these. Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised the container's still in the shape that it's in. So,
I think the plastic Slinkies were the worst. They broke so easily.
Oh, yeah, they were trash. What do you say when you wake up in the middle of the night and see your television floating across the room? I would say that has something to do with the Large Hadron Collider not being used anymore. I don't know if you heard about that one.
No.
So they said ever since they stopped using it back in like June or July, I think it said July, they said people have been seeing weird things, reality-altering events for them. So
yeah, me too. Lack
a lot
of
of
sales.
weird shit. I don't have any, but I do remember them. Yeah, see, that's fine. I mean, we all didn't get every single one of these toys, but some of the stuff that I did get, like I said, like anything else, I kept most of it in pretty good condition. Like I still have my Mattel garage set, surprisingly, with the original box. So that thing, and there was a lot of freaking cardboard on that.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of surprised it lasted just because my dad had it stored down in the basement, which would flood out. So there was a huge chance for mold, but somehow the damn thing did survive.
Gap After Dark says, I'm moving out of here. After you see something like that. Oh, shit.
Doctor's office, maybe? Yeah, well, there you go with the Rigamajig.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's definitely odd. Like you would really need to take a lot of time to figure out, but it's just so cool that you could do all these different things with them, like things kind of suspended in the air and everything like that.
Yeah, you could do like a strange kind of piece of highway shit for your Hot Wheels or something, like weird European architecture. And
yeah,
your Hot Wheels driving by.
I mean, and there's quite a few pieces. Like this set was a 100-piece set, so. Yeah.
Did they have different shapes, or it was only that?
No, they only had the rings like this. That's why they were called Ringamajigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy making a rainbow color of circles. Well, I mean, there isn't much of an option there. I mean, there are circles and there are a bunch of colors. So
I was thinking if they had pieces that attached to like those little nubs, like a bridge.
No, pretty much.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty much everything what you have in the set right here. That's pretty much.
Let's bring these back and improve upon them.
Right, I'm sure they actually could. I'm sure they could.
There's something there.
Definitely interesting. I hear pigs complaining already. And guys, I've fed you 3 times today, you fatties. Calm down. You will get fed again. Do not worry.
Man, I spent 2 hours going through freaking bins. Oh my god, my back's killing me. But hey, you know what? I found the shit I was looking for. So
And see, that's what matters the most, right?
yes, and I there's some stuff I could do for the future toy streams that I could reveal.
Nice.
So that's a good thing. Almost worth it.
Well, let's see what else we got to show off. So, you know what? I'm going to show an old school pigmation. So, of course, everything that's going to be on this show, even if it's a pigmation, it's going to be older toys. So, hope you enjoy this one.
We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated.
Yeah, there you go. That one was just a quick one. There was nothing too crazy about that one.
Still love them though. Those things are so cool.
Yeah, there was another one that I was going to upload along with that one, and I forgot to grab it. Just, well, like I said, I was having problems with the damn computer again, just like glitching out and freezing up on me. So,
shit.
Yeah, you know, I can't win. But hold on, let me grab it. It shouldn't take too long for me to pull this thing up.
Okay.
So you don't want to slam the door a few more times, woman? Oh man,
break my foot off up in your ass.
Freaking cool stop motion. I'm working on. I am trying to get better. Thank you, Canadian Spider-Man. Appreciate that. RR with the go bats. What's going on, Doc? Man, a dig outlaw in the house.
Doc.
What's up, Doc? Man.
Hell yeah.
Guys got amazing books. Guys haven't checked out his Evolution series or the Blood Witch series. You should definitely check that stuff out. Available in Barnes and Nobles and still on Amazon. Which,
Absolutely. If
you're going to get it, from my understand, Doc's saying go Barnes and Nobles. They got the better quality. I've already seen some of the Amazon books come in all freaking bent up. So awesome stuff. If anybody has the links to be able to drop for that, or I mean, maybe I can in a second. I have to grab it. We each get our own laser eyes if we are assimilated. Yes. I haven't done an actual assimilation thing in a while. I used to do them all the time. Make people's basically a version of them in the guinea pig form with the cybernetics there. I haven't done one in a while. I should start doing again.
Oh yeah.
So you have to explain awesome. It's not as funny, but guys appreciate it. So let's see. Okay, here we go. So here's the second old school pigmation for you guys.
We are the Guinea Pig Collective. All will be assimilated. Resistance is futile.
Infernal Guardian! It's up to that bill.
Yeah, I found the Amazon link. I put it up. I'm sorry, I did it as you. My bad. But I'm trying to find the Barnes and Noble one.
Yeah, so there goes the Amazon one, guys. I know. I used to have it. At least I think I did in my big giant list of everybody's links and everything like that. But it's something I don't have like immediate access to. I've got to open up a second tab and everything. Like it's like everything else. It's just a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, I got it. Here you go.
Cool.
It's Barnes
awesome. Guys, if you have a chance or if you can, check that out in Barnes and Nobles. I'm telling you, Doc's stories are fantastic. Check out Vinnie's stories too. And there's plenty of other independent creators out there, like Bancroft's doing some interesting stuff. Jesus. 6 Gun Gorilla.
Yeah, Chris Gow,
thank you.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, awesome books.
Yeah, Brian's always got some good stuff going on.
And there's plenty of other people, but since they don't have time for me, I don't have time to mention them. So, with that, I want to dig into another history thing right here, and we're gonna jump into what's that? Lady Mist, hello there, welcome. I hope that you're doing well. Thanks for joining us. So with that, Indy's got another old school one he wants to talk about. We might have we touched on this one, I think, a long time ago, but let's go ahead and let Indy have his moment in the sun as he explains one more toy franchise edition that you should know about.
one and all. I am your Professor Indy of the Guinea Pig Collective. And now, we are going to get into some toy history. Welcome back with me, Indy, on this toy history lesson. So on today's toy history lesson, we are going to talk about Transformers. Yes, I know, Transformers again. It is the collective's favorite franchise. Now, as we all know, Hasbro gets all the glory when it comes to Transformers, but there is another company that never gets the credit they deserve, and it is a reason for Transformers existing, that being Takara Tomy, who was originally just called Takara. If it was not for Takara and their micro-change and Diaclone lines, Transformers never would have existed, because all those toys from the G1, almost all of them, were creations from Takara in Japan as part of their Diaclone and micro-change lines. We have had previous discussions on the Chronoform watches made by Takara and never officially brought into the Transformers lineup of toys, but were nonetheless a part of the Transformers history. Those and many other toys which did not fall under the umbrella of Transformers existed as part of the micro-change and Diaclone lines. Many interesting figures which would have fit in very well with Transformers were just left to the wayside for whatever reason. This was the ingenuity of Takara and their vision of transforming robots from everyday items, not only just cars, but watches, guns, binoculars, many different items which had never seen an official Transformers figure. So in closing, remember, when you think of Transformers, remember Takara first. Yes, Hasbro gets all the glory for bringing these two completely separate and unrelated lines together with a backstory and incredible characters, and I will not take that away from them, because they are the reason that this franchise has had such great longevity. But if not for Takara and the wonderful engineers that created all these marvelous figures that turned into different items, we might not even be talking about the Transformers today. Thank you for listening to this Indy's Toy History Lesson with your Professor, Indy of the Guinea Pig Collective. Thank you for joining me, your Professor, Indy, on this Toy History Lesson.
Thank you, Indy.
That's right, friggin' Indy. He gets the deep voice sometimes.
That's right.
He's one of a kind. He's a big fluffy bastard too. Great job, Indy. Yeah, Indy, the big and powerful, the almighty fluffy butt of the collective. I'm telling you, he needs a big girlfriend from Vietnam, that make even bigger kids. At that point, they'll be capybaras. But yeah, man, a lot of fun with some of that stuff too, as well. Now, I'm going to give an option. So I'm going to give the option to the chat right here. The Guinea Pig Collective would not have been the same. No, they would not have. So, guys, I'm going to give you an option. We got a couple things here on the extra list that I brought in. So we can do a recap rundown of G1 Scourge and Cyclonus or the G1 Insecticons. I'll leave that one up to you. Thank you, Indy. And up your James Gunn.
Damn right, RR. Oh, shit.
If you had a choice between them two, what would you say? Scourge and Cyclonus or the G1 Insecticons?
Maybe Scourge and Cyclonus.
Gap said do both.
Right? He's wise.
I mean, I could do both. That's tough. Oh, man. If it's a tough one even for RR, that means both of them probably should be played.
I think so.
And you said Scourge and Cyclonus would be your choice?
Yeah, I would go with that.
Well, I'll
start
play
off
them
with
first.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll start off with that. Now, granted, this is an older one, so you're going to see somebody from the collective that hasn't been around in a very long time, so props to that pig. He was the original Transformers pig, and he will always be remembered as such. So here we go. G1, Scourge, and Cyclonus.
Welcome back. As we're hanging out with Cliff Jumper, the master of the Transformers. And of course, you know what that means. Today it's Transformer related, as it is with every day with Cliff Jumper here. So we're going to delve into the past with 1986 Decepticon duo Cyclonus and Scourge. These are a couple of those G1s that I have sitting in the back. Some of the joints on these ones are a little bit loose. They are a little bit old, and of course, they are secondhand. But both of these guys are in pretty decent condition. They have most, if not all, their stickers on them, and they do have their weapons, which is a huge plus. Now, these original ones are slightly different than the ones that came out later with the Target Masters, because the holes in the hands were widened and made them a lot bigger to accept the Target Master that they both came with. So both of them have articulation. Scourge does have some, he has a little bit of a ratcheting joint right there, especially in the elbow. You can hear that stuff clicking. Cyclonus, however, does not. He's just got static joints on him. But both of them move fairly well. He does have a little bit of a ratchet up there at the top of the shoulder. But both of them move pretty well. They do have some articulation down here in the legs. It isn't much, but there was something, which is a lot more than what they had on some of the other G1s. Now, of course, these ones are actually based on the artwork that they had created for the 1986 movie, and those rare, one of the very rare instances where the cartoon actually dictated the toy instead of the toy dictating how it would look in the cartoon. And we'll get an up-close view of Cyclonus right there. Pretty simple, pretty basic, like most of the Transformers were at the time, but still pretty cool nonetheless. Now we'll go ahead and we'll grab Scourge and get a good look at him. He was pretty cool. Now this is one of the earlier releases where this little missile at the top would actually come off. Later on they made that a permanent fixture and it didn't come off. There was also a back piece right here. I do have it in another tote somewhere. I just don't recall where I put it offhand. I have to look for that. I went ahead digging in the back and I did find that other piece of Scourge's missile piece right there. And the problem is this kind of ports in. Sometimes it was a little bit sloppy on some of the models, so it might easily fall out. And like I said, later on, they did change that to make it one whole piece that didn't break apart.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Yeah, there we go with that, with Scourge and Cyclonus.
Those are very cool to see, man. You know, I'm happy that you have so many of these things, because there's so many people that just they wouldn't keep them or they threw them out. Man, that's what I love about when you do the old school stuff.
I tell you what, I've had discussions with plenty of people that are, you know, either avid collectors or they're recollecting and getting back into it again. And one of the people I was talking to is actually Stone Cold Loki, and we were having a very, short discussion about it.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Jetfire, and he said he had never had the original Jetfire. I was like, dude, I wound up having a few of them, and I actually had put a few together and sold one or two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, the Bondi jets from the Robotech, the Macross, like really beautiful things. But man, there was a whole lot of points of failure on those things, and of course, because there was so much white plastic, they were extremely prone to the freaking yellowing from all the bromine that was in those plastics.
I know that, didn't Doc say he had a whole bunch of them still, the Robotech ones?
I think he might have. I don't know. I want to say yes, but I can't recall.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I got the pigs running around in my head in the wheel, and I'm trying to remember, but I do gotta get going though. I gotta help out some family with stuff now.
Yeah, man.
Hey, I'm happy I was able, at least I could drop in, give you a little hand too with the links and everything too. But hell yeah, man, always a blast. I'll catch you later. Chat. Much love to everyone out there.
All right, Vinny, thanks for stopping in, man. Vinny had a really good show last night on Whatnot.
Mostly thanks to RR.
Well, you know what? You take what you can get, and RR, man, the guy's amazing.
Legend.
He is.
He's
legendary.
And not only that, we hooked up somebody else with a free book. So, yeah, man, RR, you are definitely your VIP, brother. Yeah, man, rock on. And yeah, I got it out before too, so you should be getting it this week. Everyone, please have an awesome night. Tommy, I'll catch you later, brother.
All right, Vinny, you have a good one, man. Take care now.
You got it. Peace.
All right. And with that, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to show off the G1 Insecticons real quick. Now, granted, I don't remember if this one actually I did the transformation or not. Bidar looks like the book. I think she will. Well, I'm sure you'll let us all know. Yeah, all right. Take care, Vinny. Well, I'll talk to Vinny later on. But here you go with G1 Insecticons, an old one with our old buddy Cliff Jumper. May he rest in peace.
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Welcome back, as we're hanging out with Cliff Jumper. Oh, Cliff Jumper, Mr. Transformers Pig. Cliff Jumper's getting his nom on while we're getting ready to look at some old school Transformers. So from 1985, here we go with the original Decepticons. These were a bit of a holdover from Takara before the partnership with Hasbro. But here we go. We're starting from left to right. We got Bombshell, we got Shrapnel, and we have Kickback. All three in their Insecticon forms. All three of these look relatively in good shape. There's a few stickers, I think, missing off Shrapnel and off Bombshell, but other than that, these ones look great. They still have almost all their chrome on them, and I do have the weapons for them as well. So let's go ahead and get these old school Transformers transformed and ready for action.
Unshare Kickback. Transform.
And here we go with all three Insecticons with their original blasters. You can see there, like I said, there are a few decals that are missing for both Bombshell and Shrapnel. Kickback, on the other hand, seems to have every last one of his original decals. Granted, this gun does not stay in his hand perfectly, but it's a little worn, I think, at this juncture. But all three of these guys look great, and I'm so happy to have these things back in my collection. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these guys. You will notice that on these ones, they still had the Diaclone holdovers, so they still had opening chest, and the opening chest was part of the Diaclone pilots that would actually sit in there. But the Insecticons were actually supposed to be the invading force for that line. So in the Diaclone line, these were the bad guys. All the other robots, Starscream, Thundercracker, all those guys that you know of, they were all technically the good guys. I know, kind of odd to think about.
Food approaches.
Of course, with most of these guys, the articulation was pretty much always left in the arm. So let's go ahead and show off some of that old school transformation. But there you go. Love these things. Anyway, guys, did you have the G1 Insecticons? Do you like this original team, the way they look? I think these things were absolutely fantastic.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers.
Speed Razor mode engaged. Oh, well, sometimes in order to make time, I had to freaking do that a little bit. You did have them? Yeah, I had them all too. Originally, I had them all with all the boxes and everything. Man, when all that shit was sold, I was so pissed. And I swore, I know I can't say 100%, but I am like 90% sure I know the person who did it. And if I ever run into them again, they may wind up be short of some teeth. I don't know. Attacking that lettuce. Yeah, man. He used to go to town on the lettuce, and now I got all the new guys. I got his how would you say that? It wasn't really his protege because he kind of came after Cliff Jumper was already gone, but his replacement, so to speak, with Windcharger, very similar in their their attitudes and how they go about doing everything. So they really hold up well. They do. These ones, I mean, I had to do a little bit of work to them. I'm not going to lie. There was a little bit of work done, but it wasn't quite as bad as some of the other figures I had to work on. Now, while I don't actually have any of the original G1 Insecticons with stop animation, I do have the retro re-release, which is close enough for our needs for this one. So here we go with Kickback.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
We are the Guinea Pig Collective.
Yeah, there we go with that little pigmation of Kickback. Oh, man, a lot of fun. I love doing a lot of stop animation, especially with some of the older figures, because for the most part, a lot of them don't have a whole lot of movement. So being able to try to figure out how to get them to move, make them look like halfway decent it's fun in its own right. It's a bit of a magic trick, really. Nice. And yeah, heir apparent. That is actually a good way to put it, is heir apparent. But with that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into something else that is Transformer related. So Padre, you can have another drink, buddy. And we're going to have a toy spotlight.
We'll be whirling back to 1986 as we will be taking a look at this character on today's Toy Spotlight. We will be taking a look at Sandstorm. Now, Sandstorm's function was reconnaissance. His motto, when the smoke clears, I've cleared out. Always takes death-defying risks. Anything less than dangerous is boring to him. In battle, gets close enough to count the bolts in Decepticon armor plates. As a helicopter and buggy, he's adept at using rotors and exhaust to whip up blinding clouds of dust and sand. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to transform him as quick as we possibly can. There it goes. Extremely maneuverable, carries sandblaster gun that shoots streams of silicate particles that can erode anything. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to transform him into robot form. Pull the legs down a little bit right there. Toes down and up. Head is already right there. You just got to turn it around. Pull these back up, all the way up. Pull the hands out. And there we go with Sandstorm in his robot form. Not 100% sure if I have his blaster anywhere. I might have it in the back. I just am not 100% sure where it is. But there we go with Sandstorm on our Toy Spotlight. Sandstorm, of course, being from 1986. Guys, do you remember this one?
Yeah, there we go with Sandstorm. Yeah, he pretty cool. He's not in perfect shape. There's a few paint chips and everything on the feet because that's where the die casts were in the toes. But for the most part, he is intact, which is a lot more than I could say for a lot of other examples I've seen of Sandstorm and some of the other triple changers. Man, I can't even tell you how many I've seen that were just absolutely destroyed, like pieces ripped off of them. Toy Spotlight, I remember him. Yeah, man. And they did a more modern version of him, and I know Vinny had got that one, and I wanted to get it. I just didn't have the money for it. Man, looked really good. Looked so much like the original toy. in all 3 modes that I was like, damn, they did a killer job on that one. Still a chance that I might be able to pick it up later on down the road, but as of right now, that is just not possible. I'm stringing along every dollar I can to pick up maybe a thing here or there, but I can't go crazy with this shit. It's all too damn pricey now anymore. So with that, I am going to show off a quick commercial, and then we're going to be back with the last half of this show. We're not going to run these shows super long. There's no need to. We're going to get in. We're going to jump in. We're going to have discussions about old school toys. Eventually, we will be having a guest on. What we're not going to do is we're not going to have huge panels. So every time I have a guest on here, this is going to be a lot more one-on-one. It's going to be a lot more, direct and to the point. So we're not going to have a big panel where, there's just too much discussion going on to keep it like focused on just a couple of things. So that's the way we're going to be doing it moving forward. So, of course, that means I'm going to be reaching out to some people that have some old school toys that they want to get into a better discussion with, more talk with. So we'll see how everything go, and we'll see where we go with our first guest. So we're going to see if I can wind up lining up a guest for next week. We'll definitely do a show next week. If I can't line a guest up right away, I'll probably do some preparation for a couple weeks in a row, and I might push this next Collectible Past stream until the week after. Once again, it all depends on who can wind up stepping up to the plate and when they can. So pricing the pigs out. Yeah, unfortunately, and we've talked about that on the main show on Thursday, the modern day show with Plastic Junkies. Now, it's gotten to the point where there's a lot of people that are feeling like they're priced out, where they're looking at third-party stuff now at this point because they can't afford it. And that's why a lot of people are actually looking to some of the older stuff, because sometimes some of the older toys are actually slightly more affordable than the newer stuff. And that's really sad when you think about it. If you can pick up an older version of that toy for less than a modern one, that's kind of sad. I'm sorry. It just is. I mean, anybody spouting some nonsense about it was cheaper to make them that way back then. They're blowing smoke up your ass. But I'll go ahead. I'm going to play this commercial break, and we're going to get back into our last segments for today's show. Thank you, guys. Everybody has joined us so far for this one. Be sure to share the links out there because this is going to be a little bit of a shorter show. It'll be a little more digestible, I guess, for people on the replay. And I hope that you guys are having fun with us so far. So here we go with our regular commercial break.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For children with imagination, the world of the Micronauts. Spacemen, robots, vehicles, some with magnets, some with batteries, and all with interchangeable parts, so your child can create dozens of different toys. And when Micronauts start a child's imagination working, he can create just about anything. Toys that climb, toys that spin, toys that float, toys that stimulate young minds.
Look what I made.
Micronauts by Mego.
Biotron, Space Glider, Hydrocopter from the Micronaut collection. Biotron and Hydrocopter need assembly. All have interchangeable parts. A few changes and Hydrocopter is a paddle boat or a one-man cruiser. You can combine it with Biotron and build your own toy, like these. Batteries for Biotron and Hydrocopter not included. Hydrocopter, Biotron, and Space Glider, all sold separately by Mego.
Show and tell time. Another teddy bear? My teddy's name is Teddy Ruxpin. He talks, he tells stories,
All that is not included.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. Can you and I be friends?
Yeah.
I really enjoy talking to people. I would like...
Teddy Ruxpin, the storytelling bear, comes with illustrated book and cassette from Worlds of Wonder.
Fisher-Price Dino Roars. They're a scream.
Superheroes, Bullseye, Stings, Spike, and T-Bone. Extinction stinks. Extreme Dinosaur. Part man, part dinosaur. Cool. Fighting to stop the evil Raptor Man. I'll have you for lunch. Eat this. Teeth, claws, muscles, and
Now, back to our program.
Now, out of all the little miniature, or should I say mini Indies toy history lessons, because usually a lot of those ones would be a little bit shorter than the bigger ones for, toy origins in history, or even toys from the past. Usually the toy history lessons that, the Indy winds up doing, they could be a little bit shorter. I have never done the Extreme Dinos one. I have that commercial sitting there as part of a commercial break, and I have never done that one yet. I really got to dig into that one and do a little toy history lesson on that one. Pretty weird looking toys. Like, I really don't remember them on offhand, but definitely interesting looking and definitely good stuff. Man, there's so many interesting, and it was said a few times during the show today about how they were so innovative back then. I mean, guys, when you say stuff like that, you were spot on. You're nailing it right on the head, because they made some really outlandish things that were just like way ahead of their time sometimes, and that's probably something, part of the reason why some of them failed so bad. Do a deep nibble into them. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put Indy to work. We're gonna have to line them up with some lettuce, maybe a few carrots, possibly even some apple slices, because he's gonna have to really dig his girth into that one. That chunky boy, he's got the girth. Guys, I got another one here for you. This is an older one. We're talking about some of the old school toy catalogs, man. This is something that you don't see a lot of toy companies doing anymore. A few companies here and there will include mini toy catalogs with some of their stuff. And where have I seen this sometimes? Believe it or not, I've seen it at some of the dollar stores. So on the last toy show, we're talking about some of the weird things you get from dollar stores. There's something I got from a dollar store. It's a little mini, like a monster truck. And you piece this thing together and everything. I think I'll be showing that off. Actually, I don't know if I showed up this Thursday. I'll be showing up this coming Thursday. But that actually came with a small mini catalog where you could see all the different vehicles that are in the set. They really just don't do shit like that anymore. And it's ridiculous. The Gibson Atomic set. Yeah. They had so many cool things back then, and they just don't have them anymore. But one of the things I miss with toys is the catalogs, especially when you used to get the big giant checklists. I mean, this is number one. Not only is it great for the kid to be able to see all the other things that are in the line, but then it's also a checklist for mom and dad to say, okay, this is what the kid wants. The kid's already got it checked sometimes, or maybe circled to be, picked up. And it was helpful. It was definitely helpful. I loved it just to be able to see everything else in the line and see what else that I'm missing and I need to get. Not that I really forgot that very often, but it was nice to have a little reminder right there in front of you. So here we go with some old school toy catalogs.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Helmet's here. Helmet, say hello to everybody. What's going on, people? Helmet's here with me today as we are going to take a look at something a little bit different. So we all know about how old toys, a lot of times they have a certain charm to them. They have a certain presence to them. One of the things that a lot of these newer toy lines don't do is they don't really get you that interested. Most of these toy boxes on the back, maybe they'll show a figure or two, such as this. Yeah, they might give you a glimpse at something else on there, but they don't really tell you about the whole line. They don't get you that excited. Not like the old toys did. Like from Kenner, for example. This old Star Wars catalog. This is what kids got excited about, because now you could see all the different figures that were available, right, Helmet? Everything that you could possibly hope to see or know about was in these catalogs. This is something that is lacking with newer toy lines today. They just don't think about stuff like this. This is exciting for kids to be able to look through these catalogs and say, I want to get that one, I want to get this one. And you could physically show the people responsible for getting those wonderful toys for you exactly what it is. They knew the catalogs. They seen what you wanted. These are the things that I love to see when I would get those toys from long ago. To see the giant collection of figures, be able to have something right in front of you, like, oh man, I didn't get that guy, or I didn't get this guy. and you could let somebody know. You could see them for yourself, see what they look like. This is what created a lot of repeat sales. Stuff like this. It wasn't always so much just the toys themselves and what they may or may not have shown on the back of the boxes.
Yeah, there we go with another old one with some of those catalogs, and I do have a second part to that I'm going to play real quick, and then anything you guys want to say about those, be sure to go ahead and start typing that in the chat, and we will talk about that. So here,
I still have quite a few of these old catalogs. Of course, you know, being a big Transformers fan, of course, I'm going to have that first generation catalog. I actually have a few of these still, surprisingly. And of course, I have the Wave 2 from Generation 1 as well. And of course, I have the Wave 3 catalog. Love these old catalogs. I just love having these things around. I used to check them off. And of course, last year I remember getting the big catalogs in there when they came out with all these different headmasters. Where are you going? There is no escaping just yet. And of course, with those, also have some of the minis, like this old one for a reflector, which was a mail away. Yeah, still have that too. The old reinforcements from Cybertron with power dashers on them. And of course, just some of the other things, of course, that you've seen with the figures, the little booklets with the artwork on them. It was stuff like this that really took it to a different level with all the toys. Even with the GoBots, they gave you these little holographic type of stickers with each one of them. Stuff they just don't do anymore.
yeah, Helmet was trying to run around. Yeah, I thought it was funny is towards the end, Helmet sticks his little schnooter in there because hey, why am I not on camera here, buddy? I'm supposed to be on camera. But yeah, all the little catalogs and everything else with the product and everything that was on there, the checklist and all that stuff, man, that stuff was freaking awesome. I would love to see that kind of stuff make a comeback. I'm telling you, it was one of the things that just made it seem like a little bit more. It's such a small addition too to a toy, being able to add that in with a box toy. It's a small addition. It doesn't really cost them that much to have those things printed. Well, why are they being so lazy and so cheap? Like half these damn toys now, you're barely even getting a description of the character on the back of the box anymore. I mean, G.I. Joe is kind of doing it, but like for the most part, most of the other ones, barely anything. Even the Transformers, you get a tiny little summary of the character. And if it's a specific scene in the movie or something like that. No, this is when they die in the movie during a Decepticon ambush. Wow, that really tells us a whole lot. Thanks for that. Could you spare the time to write that up? They don't do the little things that make a difference anymore. No, they absolutely don't. And then they wonder why a lot of these people are just checking out and why they're going to third-party companies. It's right there. It's on the wall. You guys are being lazy. You're being cheap. Stop. They always went straight to my parents with big circles drawn on. Yes, exactly, Padre. Damn right. Like even Hot Wheels, like back in the day, there were certain cars that you would get where they would have like the little checklist in there. So you knew everything that was wound up being released in that series or that wave. They don't do that anymore. I mean, most of the times Hot Wheels will put everything relevant to a specific run that all those cars are in. So, but they have so many different runs in one single year. Unless you have a car from each one of those ones, like let's just say it's like the mod squad cars, or it's one of the other ones, like I don't know, like the Redline re-release series ones. Unless you have one of each, you're not going to know all the different cars there and all those different waves. So that's how you did it back then. Absolutely, that's how you did it, and that's how you got more sales too. Once again, the kid sees everything that they want. Be sure to remind mom and dad, here you go, it's right here. Or like Padre said, circle that shit and hand it in like it's a freaking like it's homework. This is what I want. Pay attention, older people. But with that, we're getting ready to jump into our final segment of the evening, and that's Old Skool Toy Time Show Off. So this is another older one that we've had for a while, but these things, I always like going back and talking about these. My cousin had tons of these damn things, so it's something that I don't mind going back and taking a look at every once in a while and rediscussing. So here we go with Old Skool Toy Time.
So for today's Old Skool Toy Time, most daring, true blue Smurf Award. Of course, we're talking about some Smurfs. Oh, we got a mushroom house right there, and then we got some of the figures that we wound up picking up from the house over there. A lot of these were in my mother's collection. A few of them used to belong to me. I know my cousin used to have hordes of these things. Tons of them. I think she had every single one that they had ever made at one point. But there goes some of them old Payo Smurfs. I know you guys got to remember those, man. Old time vibes from all these things. So in one of these totes back here, just filled with a whole bunch of nondescript older stuff. We got some of these guys from Burger King, trolls. One time the damn troll figures were everywhere. You couldn't throw a stick without hitting somebody that was selling them. Got this weird little thing. I really don't remember what it was from. I don't remember which company made it, but and it was Hot Wheels. So Hot Wheels. Doesn't say the branding that it was for, but yeah, that little shark truck. It had a couple of these things. I believe these were Burger King. California. Leonardo First Degree Ninja. Supposed to have a suction cup on the back end. It's supposed to pop up, but there it goes. Hanging out behind there. And then this weird looking thing, which I cannot figure out where this came from, but it's got a little like key thing in the back, and you're supposed to turn it and it flips down like that. Really weird. Don't know what it's from. Anyway, guys, this was your Old Skool Toy Time.
Yeah, and I hear you, Padre. He said I had a 5-gallon bucket of sharing cars. I had a tackle box that didn't get brought out with friends. Yeah, so you had the big bucket to share and trade with, or maybe just play with, and then you had the ones that, yeah, you don't even get to see. You don't even get to breathe on it. I had a bunch of the ones from like Corgi and stuff like that where it was like Peanuts characters, like it was Charlie Brown on a tractor, and I think it was Snoopy in a little dune buggy car or something like that. I remember also I had a Spider-Man one where he's in a dune buggy car. And he also says, my sister had tons of Smurf. Yeah, it was the same thing with my cousin, man. I swear she had every single one they ever made. She had all the different mushroom houses, like from small, medium to large mushroom houses. She had the ones they even made for the show, like Gargamel and Azrael and that freaking little prince character or whatever with the sword. They had all of them. Old school toy time. Yeah, man. I remember those trolls. Yeah, the trolls, man. And they were everywhere. And then they disappeared for a little while, and then they came back. Appreciate that, Gap. Trying to do the best I can here. Trying to have some fun doing it my way. You know, good stuff. Appreciate that. Still got a tackle box full of Corvettes. Nice. Nice. Like, I'm going to have to go back in and dig out some more of the older Hot Wheels and stuff like and show some more of them off, Padre. I'm sure you appreciate that. Maybe one of these times I'll do that with the live show off instead of like rigamajigs or something like that. I'll grab an ass load of older Hot Wheels and show them off. Like, I got tons of older ones back there that I freaking used to race all up and down. And some of them not in perfect shape anymore. Holy shit! I think I had that black van looking the jet. Oh, okay, with the button white. Okay, I have no clue what it's from, Curtis. I had no clue what that thing is from. Sometimes you wound up getting some of those things and you just don't remember where they came from. Nibbling your way. Yeah, I am. I'm doing it my way because that's the only way I know how to do it. But, guys, I think that's going to be for today's show. I wanted to try to keep these things relatively light. I don't want to go too long with them. I just want to show off a bunch of cool old stuff, have some fun times discussing some of these things with you, and I really do appreciate all of you coming in, too. I got a bunch of the Johnny Lightning Corvettes. Nice. Yeah, you know what? Johnny Lightning had made some really interesting cars. And a lot of people, whenever they think about a lot of those miniature cars, it's always Matchbox, it's always Hot Wheels, maybe Corgi, but they almost never remember Johnny Lightning. And then there was one other company, I'm trying to remember what it was, but there was one other company that did a lot of really cool miniature cars. And I have some from all of them, but I know Johnny Lightning did some of the movie ones. A little bit like nondescript movies, like they did American Graffiti and stuff like that. And I have a couple of those Johnny Lightnings from American Graffiti sitting back there. Really cool. I think they also did the Blues Brothers car that I have back there as well. Might be an Inspector Gadget vehicle. Maybe. I'm not sure. Like there was nothing stamped on it, so I'm pretty sure whatever that little vehicle was part of something else. And that's where all the stamping was, because I didn't see anything stamped on that vehicle itself. So kind of is what it is. It's still cool. I'll eventually figure it out. It might take a little bit longer than I would like, but I'll eventually figure out what it is. But there we go with today's show. Once again, guys, thank you for joining me. Thanks for hanging out in the chat. Thanks for keeping the discussion going. And for everybody that's watching on the replay, everybody that's going to be stopping in the next couple of weeks as we really get going with the show, I want to thank you in advance. Could have spent your time anywhere, chose to spend here with us. It's all about having a lot of fun, because that's what has always been meant. You know, this is what this kind of stuff has always been meant for. It's always been meant for having some fun. I'm not saying that you should be putting out important information and everything like that, but if you're not having any fun and you're not being entertaining, at least in a certain way, whether it's showing off old school stuff, whether it's talking about something that's fun, why are you doing this? Just to be miserable? Don't. I mean, there's plenty of time to be miserable all you want. You know, spend all your time on Twitter. There's a lot of miserable people over there. You know what I mean? Come and have a little bit of fun every once in a while, and that's what I try to do with these shows. It's all about having fun. There's a time and a place to be able to spout out the stuff that's very important and things you need to say to certain people or about certain things that are going on. And there's a time to kind of kick back, relax, and just have a little bit of fun and just not be aggravated the whole time. Because if your whole life is revolved around being aggravated 24 hours a day, what's the point of even fucking going on? It's fucking ridiculous. Appreciate that, RR. Padre, thanks for the show. Back to pissing people off now. Padre, I'm glad that I was able to give you a break in the middle of your day. Let go of your misery. Guys, thank you so much. And here we go. I'm going to play the outro, and then hopefully I will see you all next time. I'll see you on Thursday, hopefully, before then. But until then, guys, have an excellent day. Have an excellent night. And take care of yourselves.
growing in pursuit of your lives.
What we are looking at, good and evil, right and wrong. It's a big world order. A big world order. A big world order. A big world order. Something is going to wind again or goes to the up in here. A big world order. 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 Better hide your toes, we're coming for 'em. A big world order. A big world order. A big world order.